Pleasure to have you on, Caleb.
Thanks.
Thank you. An
Sure.
interesting reporting that you've done here and looking into this. Now, for our viewers, let's just start things off and describe to me what the conditions are like in Nigeria and in and around the Niger Delta. Just, I think it's important we get that context as we kind of look at what they're facing, and why they're doing what they're doing now.
Well, sure. I mean, Nigeria is a very wealthy country. They've got oil, they've got natural gas, they've also got mineral resources. Very, very rich country. But the people there live in a lot of poverty, just a lot of poverty. In fact, 70% of the population lives below the poverty line, according to the CIA World Factbook. They also indicate that illiteracy is very high. They talk about the fact that 1 in 3 Nigerian children works as a child laborer. I mean, these are horrendous conditions in a country that has a real abundance of natural resources.
I mean, if anything, they should be like running the table, given how much wealth is within this country.
Right.
Sure. Yes, I mean, now the government of Nigeria is very much seen as kind of a puppet of these oil companies. The current president, Buhari, he was actually the military dictator of Nigeria between 1983 and 1985. Now, he took power after the last election, just completely embraced by the United States, despite that there's a long record of human rights violations, people being jailed for speaking out and criticizing the government. Now, President Buhari has said he's willing to negotiate, but he's also trying to get the situation under control. The military is getting ready to go into the area. It's a very intense situation. If you look at the statements these groups are putting out on social media, their demand is that the oil of the Niger Delta region be used for the people there. They want things like health care. They want things like education. They want an end to these environmental practices that are just affecting people's living standards and lifestyle. And they're making these demands very clear. Some of them are even calling for the Niger Delta to separate. That's a demand that some of them want the region itself to become separate from the rest of Nigeria.
That they're doing. How does it actually connect to American politics, to what's going on there?
Well, Nigeria is one of the top recipients of U.S. aid on the African continent. Nigeria buys weapons from the United States. There are U.S. military advisors in Nigeria working hands-on with the Nigerian military. The Nigerian government and the U.S. government are very, very close. In fact, Buhari came to the United States immediately after he was elected president. Barack Obama praised him, saying he had a reputation for integrity. So the two governments, the U.S. government and the Nigerian government, they work hand in hand.
And there's no evidence to say that we would actually pivot and say, hey, maybe we should help these people out who are fighting back against these companies.
I wouldn't count on that.
There's nothing saying that there's any reason that would happen.
Now, we often hear in the media about Boko Haram and its status as a terror organization and its relationship with ISIS. What do we know about Boko Haram, and how is that group related possibly to the strife in Nigeria and the extreme poverty going on in that country?
Well, it's very interesting. Since 2009, Boko Haram has been waging their campaign of violence, but Hillary Clinton refused to list them as a terror organization when she was the Secretary of State. They weren't actually listed by the United States as a foreign terror organization until 2013. A lot of commentators say that they believe that the Nigerian state, especially on some of the local and regional levels, has a relationship with Boko Haram, because it seems very strange that they could have so much power, they could be going for so long, and that there's a regional aspect to this, that some of the Islamic regions feel like the national government isn't paying attention to them. They're supporting Boko Haram, and it's a complicated situation. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very complex. They have called themselves now the African wing of ISIS, which is an interesting thing.